Hello. So I learned a little bit from before that you guys couldn't hear the music at all. So I am going to try and mess with the levels a little. And hopefully you'll be able to hear it this time. But I forgot to put it up and get it ready, so there we go. Hopefully that's showing up. And I'm gonna play around with the focus. I figured out how to autofocus, so that's a thing. Or manually focus, I mean. Easier maybe to focus on this. The beads are a little hard to see. Yeah, I think that looks good. Let's try to turn down this light. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So hopefully you can hear me over the music now, or hear the music at all. I will have a friend to pop in and take a look for me, because it's kind of impossible for me to tell. Hello. My very own chatter, and it's not anybody that I don't know in real life. All right, so can you hear the music, and can you hear me okay? Alright, my friend said she's switching to earbuds. I don't want to start chatting until I know I'm actually audible, so we'll just look at my cupcakes and cookie. Ooh. Now, it doesn't look like the audio is coming through very much, but I'm not positive. Now maybe? I think I lost my needle. There's a bead here. Somehow there's cat hair on this, even though the cats never got to touch this. Alright, where did my needle go? Alright. Hey, welcome back. Perfect. Glad you can hear it this time. And I hope it's not drowning me out at all. Yay. Let me know if the music ever gets too loud or too quiet or whatever. Alright. So we're going to continue off on the rows here that I've got. I added numbers above the white rows starting at 1 just so I know how many whites to count out. So like here I'll know number 7, or sorry, number 8 is the cherry. That's just the way I'm doing it. It might not be the greatest way, but it's the way that makes sense to me. So we're starting with 2 frost greens, 1 white, 1 rainbow, and then 7 white, 5, 6, 7. Make sure I got that. And 1 red. And then another 7 white. Five, 6, 7. Again, I'm gonna double check that. Yep. Rainbow, white, and 2 green. So for me, it's kind of easier to do it in chunks that way, where I'll be like, okay, 2 green, 1 white, 1 rainbow, 7 white, 1 red, 7 white. So today, for my grief topics, I had thought to talk about triggers. What sets you off into your pain and misery. It's kind of ironic I didn't think about that yesterday, considering yesterday I had one. But I was just kind of worried about whether or not the stream was working, so obviously these are things that remind you either about your person or that that person's no longer there, and it's almost like a punch in the heart. It really gets to you again, and sometimes it can be as bad as feeling them die all over again. So I thought I'd discuss a few of my triggers. Most recent was today, actually. My company does this thing called Brand Week or Goals Week, where they set out their goals that the company's gonna do for the year. Like, obviously profits is always the biggest one, but also included will be like, oh, we've got too much inventory, so we need to make sure we manage our inventory better and things like that. And then it trickles down to the brand, because my company has multiple brands it works with, and then down to the individual. So like company-wide, team-wide, individual. And they take an entire week to go through it. Well, 3 full days, I guess. And it'll have guest speakers and other events, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is, they had music playing in between, and it's been difficult for me to listen to music again because Zach was so fond of music. He actually knew how to play the drums. He wasn't Neil Peart or anything, but you know, he could keep the time, and he made pretty cool stuff. Never actually went anywhere with it, but anyway, he played the drums. He loved music, and Imagine Dragons came up on the playlist, and that was one of the bands that we actually like to listen to together. And the moment I heard with a song, and it wasn't even a song that we often listen to, it just sparked the memory. Oh yeah, this is a group we like to share together. And thank God I work from home and they don't have to see me sob. So that got me teary-eyed, and it wasn't even a sad song. Yesterday, similar thing, Brand Week, and we were focused more on our individual goals. And so I was saving something in my employee folder that I keep. And in that folder I saw his resume, because I had been trying to get him to work at the company. And, you know, just seeing his name and resume, that set me off. That one hit a lot harder than today's, but I think it was just because it was a unexpected, raw, sudden trigger, whereas today I was still kind of recovering from yesterday's, so I had a little more fight in me, I guess. I've had other simple things trigger me, other complicated things, ones that make sense and ones that don't. Ones that make sense, I had to go to the doctors and they confirmed whether or not he was still my emergency contact. And obviously he's not anymore. But then that made me realize I have to think of a new emergency contact. That was difficult. And then the one that got me to actually cry in public, and like I said, if you end up doing it, now I'm lucky that at work I work from home, so I don't cry in public very often, but if you end up doing it, let it out, and who cares if people stare at you? Besides, most of them will be too uncomfortable to stare. And I was at the gas station and I decided to try to pick up some, I think it's Barks is the company who makes fruit punch. I mean, I know they make root beer, but I was getting fruit punch. And the last time I got it, I got 2 bottles, you know, one for me, one for him. So that really got me. And I started crying in the gas station. Thankfully, the guy at the checkout was kind of one of those young punks who is too cool for school, so he kind of just didn't even pay attention to me while he was ringing me up, and I could quickly get out of there. And yes, I did stay to buy it, because, I don't know, I felt like, well, this is gonna happen. This is my life now, so I might as well charge through with the tears. But yeah, any little thing can trigger you from whatever you're experiencing or suffering. And it's okay to just let it happen. Obviously it doesn't feel great at the time, and it never will, really. Grief doesn't necessarily ever go away, unfortunately. It sort of stays with you forever. It's just that you kind of grow around your grief. Yeah, exactly. So, spirit being, who's my mom, I won't lie. Hi, Mom, thanks for the support. She said that's the best, don't hold back. Mom, I don't know how to say your chis. Forbidden is, my friend. I'll leave it to her if she wants to give her name out. I don't want to dox her name. So thanks for joining, giving me mommy support. For some reason I just felt the need to count them on the needle. Oh, she. Hi, Liz. So this is the design I'm making, which you would have seen from the first stream video. I'm making this for one of the ladies at Grief Share. I don't think they'll see me as a good place to go and steal from. Yeah, well, it's not like I'm doxing her address, so. You know, since I added this top needle in, it's been a lot easier to get them to fit through the row. So yeah, triggers can happen anywhere and everywhere. And it's okay to go and suffer through them. Well, I guess it's not okay. That's the wrong use of words, but it's okay to express yourself. Actually, I find it encouraging to try to find ways to express yourself in general with your pain. It's a good way to let it out, and they say journaling helps. I don't find it necessarily helps, but that's, I think, because I'm not necessarily afraid to cry when I cry. So I do journal, but I use it as a means to, in a way, talk to Zach. It's like I write, every journal entry I write is a letter to him. And so that because of that, I feel like I can't stop now, because that would mean I stopped talking to him, even though I journal and write him a letter, and then afterwards I usually end up pulling his picture up and talking to him before I go to bed. So I talk to him a lot if I can. I think it's healthy and important too. Even if you don't believe in the afterlife, it's just a way to still keep them in your heart or in your life. Which I personally have to believe in an afterlife, because I'd just be sad if the only point to be here is to live and then not exist anymore. It's actually a good idea. Hey, if it helps, do it. Yeah. That's pretty much my life now. If it helps, I do it. That is actually a fear of mine, that there is no afterlife, I assume. Yeah, well, you live with me, so you know the amount of spirituality videos I've been watching these days in my quest to find it. But also, I feel like I've been having signs and glimpses of Zach still being around. You know? And I know some people who have had, in some other support groups I've gone to, who get signs from their loved one. Like one of them gets feathers all the time. And her husband gets heart-shaped objects, and usually rocks. No, I just feel like to know you will pass and then nothingness. Oh, yeah. Well, I will say that if, according to all the near-death experiencers I've watched, if you pass and you're stuck in a black void of nothingness, just call out to God, like, right away. And hey, I like watching those videos with you. Good, good. I'm glad. So, it's nice to see the top design actually existing now. So as far as signs for me, for a while I had an owl live outside, and he would hoot at night. And since I've never really seen or heard owls around my area before, I kind of thought that was from Zach. Periodically too, it was like whenever I felt at my worst is when the owl would hoot. Now I know logic, it could be coincidental, but it just, after you see so many coincidences, there comes a point where you stop questioning if they're coincidences, you know? So I do believe that was Zach. The owl, unfortunately, is still an owl. And when we had our last thunderstorm that went to a snowy tundra storm, I haven't heard it since. That's Michigan for you, scaring away my Zach owl. And maybe he just thought I didn't need it as much. I don't know. I do get dreams from him. I don't think I told you, Mom, but the other day I got a dream that he was alive and we ended up adopting a baby girl. And I remember thinking in the dream, like, while holding this little girl, now I finally have something to love in my future. And it made me realize I miss that act of loving him. And then I also remember thinking he was going to make a really good father, and I honestly think he would have. I know he is proud of you, hun. And yes, you are what you think, but there is only love. Yeah. I'd like to think he is proud of me. As one of my, another thing is if you're a widow, I recommend going to a website called Widowed Village and signing up for their pen pal. Because they got me a pen pal that I really like talking to. And as she put it, she wants to win at life. So that when we get there to our men, they can be proud and happy for us for doing it. So it's kind of my goal, is to have Zach be proud. Of course, sometimes I get mad and I say, you get to go to heaven while I have to sit here living my life and be stuck in this life. I agree, he would have said he would have been a great dad. Yeah. I would say, yeah. I get what you're trying to say. I think he would have made an excellent father. He was worried, though, because he kind of had that Torino rage, as he liked to call it. Ooh, I guess I just gave out my name. Well, that's that. Anyway, his family's known for having rage issues. So sometimes he would have it, and like if the cats got in his way or something, he would get particularly angry or annoyed and thought that that was indicative of what he would do as a father. Terrify the children. Damn him for being happy. Yeah, no kidding. We have to suffer through more life, and he gets to float around in his happy clouds. You're fine, hun, no worries, yeah. Well, I know streamers give up their name anyway, so whatever. Besides, if you met me on the street, you'd probably, and just ask, you would know my name anyway. So hello. Or I will secretly delete this VOD and no one will know. This thread really likes to get tangled up in these hooks. I hope the thread's turning up okay, because I know it turned out better when we watched back the VOD instead of what it looked like to me live, so. I have to say it's already looking cute. Thank you. It is coming out not so bad. Especially now that it's not bubbling. Oh, there is something I wouldn't mind sharing too if anybody ever does watch this VOD and needs to hear it, or see it rather. I'll pull it up on my phone here. This is a meme I saw. I'm sure it's not new, but I thought it was fitting. People tend to believe that grief shrinks over time, when really, what really happens is that we grow around our grief. So the bottom is the row, the grief stays the same, but the jar gets bigger. And I thought that was kind of, I don't know, comforting in a way. Sometimes I find that I feel guilty for being happy or having a moment of laughter, and I have to try to remind myself it's okay. It does help that I actually had a dream that I believe Zach was telling me it was okay to move on and have a good time. We were playing a video game and he was on purpose not sitting next to me. He was sitting somewhere else. And when I was going to ask him why he was sitting elsewhere, he turned and looked at me and gave me the most warm, loving smile that it actually interrupted my train of thought. So I didn't end up asking him, and I went to go play the game in my normal chair, with his being empty. So I think in a way he was saying, even though he's not where he's supposed to be, he's still around, and it's okay for me to play and have fun. That helped, but it doesn't mean I'm not grieving still. It doesn't mean I don't cry still. So like this music you're playing, you have every right to feel how you feel when you feel it. Yeah. I like this music too. It's funny, I never understood why lo-fi got so popular until I started playing it in the background while doing things. And then I was like, oh, okay. It's just really chill, relaxed, good beat, kind of music. And, yeah, I know I got every right to feel how I feel. It's just, sometimes it just hurts too much to feel. So I'm gonna count this again. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20, 23. So I hope Liz is doing alright, Mom. And I guess she gets to learn how to bead loom. Alright. The sound of silence for a while there. Hard to grab the needle without grabbing the thread sometimes. Hopefully I get good enough to do these, and my dream is to one day sell them on Etsy, but I don't know. So I was thinking about it too. I don't know if the logistical means of if someone ordered like 100 of these, having to craft 100 of them seems a little overwhelming. But in the same sense, I also like doing it, so I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll get really fast and good. Sorry I was away for a bit. I missed the dream. What was it? Oh. The dream was just that Zach and I adopted this little girl, little baby girl. And, I remember holding her in the dream and thinking, now I have something in the future to love. Because I realized I was kind of missing the actual act of loving him too. And I told him that, or I thought too, that I think he would make a really excellent father when I saw him hold her as well. I had to say goodbye to Liz. I see. I was just asking how she was doing. I'm sorry you didn't, so I did hear your dream. Okay. Yeah, I wish I did have a child with him, although in one way I am glad that I have all the free time I need to grieve. But in another sense, I feel like if I had a kid to distract me, it might actually be kind of helpful. But I don't know. I guess it's just different, you know? Sure, it's a distraction, but also you're having to deal with this baby who will never know their father. And that seems kind of sad too. One, two, three. She is doing well, still very active. Does she mind sparing some of that energy for me? I'm so beat. Oh, yeah, so last night the stupid internet went down, and I like to sleep with rain sounds. Helps me, I don't know, just sleep with some kind of like white noise type thing. And it also helps me not hear the cats going crazy in the middle of the night. But, of course, the internet went down and the rain sound stopped, so it woke me up right as I was getting, like, into the deep sleep. And then I just could not go back to sleep. I remember getting up at, like, 1:30 to go to the bathroom, and, ended up trying to take some muscle relaxants to see if it would help me go to sleep. I was still up for a while, though. And then this morning, when I get up, the cats left me the treat of their vomit on my chair. And you know, I put a towel on my chair for that kind of reason. But of course they missed the towel completely. And it was directly on my pillow. At least it wasn't on my chair. It was on my back support pillow. But still. That's the second time they vomited on my chair. And I had to clean that up, including some in the hall. Cats. You love them, but you also want to strangle them sometimes. Would have been hard emotionally, yeah. That sucks and gross. It did suck and it was gross. And especially because brand week was starting at 8:30 this morning, so I did not have a whole lot of time. And I kind of pushed my luck with the alarm because I was so exhausted. So it's kind of one of the reasons you don't get to see my face, because I don't want to show off the bags under my eyes. Yeah, Pounce and Alucard like to share those from time to time. No kidding, your bracelet is looking good. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like when one cat gets sick, the rest of them like to get sick. I don't know why. Because I've had that. The girls will do it in pairs. Which, if anyone's interested, we've got the two actual sisters, Sushi and Sake. And then their actual nephew? I think? Yeah, nephew. Momo. And thank you for my bracelet looking good. We're starting to see the cupcake top. I'd like to try to finish this for Monday. There's no obvious timeline. Like I said, she doesn't even know she's getting this. But it would be nice. So you might be seeing me doing this at least for a little bit each day. Excuse me. Can't wait to see it complete. Me neither. It is nice to do this without having to balance it on my setup out there, but it's also making me have to hunch over a lot more, so I'm not sure if I prefer it to doing it out there, but this is the only way I could stream it anyway. Especially that yummy looking cookie. Yeah, I was happy with how the bite turned out. Lost where I was. Alright. Oh, I need more blue beads, but I think I can do this row. Yeah. I can just do this row. Ooh, unless I flick everything off everywhere. Shoot. I lost the bead. No! Bead down. No. Alright, now I don't have enough blue beads because I lost it. Alright. Yeah, I really like this one for how cute it is. Me too. Well, you asked yesterday if I lost any beads to the floor. Now I did. You cursed me. Oh, I only need 3 of these, so I'm gonna start putting the rest of these away. Soon I'm gonna need to pull out my browns. The floor boss has been created. No! We lost to the carpet, yep. Well, and it flickered, so it probably is lost to the carpet behind this. Into oblivion. Alright. So, blue. Or maybe I'll just find it the moment I'm done with stream. If you had Camo, he would find it for you. Camo's my mom's cat. Hopefully you wouldn't eat it. Momo would probably be a good bead finder too. And then he would take it to play with it and lose it all over again. Momo finds everything under the sun. Yep. And he thinks everything under the sun is a game. Oh. Well, I guess we're doing this road the traditional way, as those beads fell off the end. I might have pushed them off, but... shiz happens, as they say. Yep, I do have to say, I complained about this loom bubbling it, but now that I figured out the top needle, it's actually kind of easy to fit these other beads through them now. Or in between the warp, I mean. Which is kind of nice. Alright. I call shenanigans are afoot. So do I. True, he's a little rascal. Yeah, Momo likes to steal. I have to put my glasses in a case at night now because he used to steal my glasses. Pull them, I found them on the floor one morning, and then the next morning I found them down the stairs. Cats being cats. Alright. So I am going to need 13 orange, this next one. Don't think I have that many. I do not. Oh, I did find the blue bead. There it is. We'll put it in the box for now. I like watching this, but I still say you have the patience of a saint. It's not that tough for me. You know, it's just what you like. You like something, it doesn't seem like a chore while you do it. Alright, we might as well pull out our browns. So I'm going to try to compare, because I wasn't exactly sure what brands I wanted to use. So I have a couple. Sure, I like this one, so I might do these two. Although I wish they were a little more askew in shades, but it's what we got, so. And I don't know why I said askew, that doesn't make sense, but you get what I mean. Eh. I'll just knock them off. I don't know where one of them rolled to. I'm sure it'll turn up. Would you please take a photo, yeah? Yeah, sure. My mom's a painter and likes to paint me stuff. I need to see in the light here. Alright. I think I picked that one. Yeah. Oh, I'm just a Walmart and Meijer Kate decorator, but that's okay too. Kate decorators can do some pretty crazy things. Oh, I need the other colors too. Dang it. So I will say, you should do what you can to deal with your grief, but also be careful that you're not just giving into a vice and running away, which is something that happens too, unfortunately. Because that's kind of dangerous, and you won't be living a really good life that way either. I find meditation helps sometimes to sort of calm you down, I guess. Obviously, it's difficult if you're in the middle of actually crying. That's not going to help you. But, you know, meditation stills your mind. And there's actual science-based evidence that it's healthy for you to do. If you're a sciencey naysayer out there. So I do recommend trying it, because what's the harm in trying? You can find plenty of guided meditations on YouTube, or you can just play some loud music. That's calming. Zach and I used to meditate to Wardruna and Hey Loom, I think it's pronounced. It's hard to see where the bead hole is for that one. That's not going to look good for my future. These beads are not sitting up correctly. There we go. Having to fight the warp thread. No. Okay. And then management told us we cannot use much creative pieces. They wanted to white ones with common stuff on it. Yeah. Pounce decided to get up under the blanket. Just think of him as your invisible companion, and meditation helps center you. Yeah, I can't really think about Zach when I meditate. Because that just makes me want to cry that he's not here with me doing it, so I try not to. I focus on either, if it's a guided, well, I listen to what they're saying and do, like, think of that. If it's on my own, I'll usually meditate. And I'll try to, like, think of being in a calm space, which is oftentimes a forest path next to a river. And, sometimes I've even tried to do, like, guides, find my guides, and sometimes I talk to who I think is my guide there. Found on the internet. I had found on the internet somewhere, but it said directions on how to do a remembrance thing. You need to heal yourself, yeah. Pretty much. Which is another thing, is as a widow, it's very hard to go to the empty bed and sleep these days. Obviously that'd be a little different if you're grieving a parent loss, but or maybe not if you were their caretaker before the end. This is not wanting to move up for some reason. There. Thread likes to get stuck on my gloves a lot too. Makes me wonder if Q was a guide. Oh yeah. My mom and I, when I was younger, had used a Ouija board and met a friendly entity named Q that we would speak to. He was a little childlike personality. He liked us singing the ABCs. Whenever our cat came near the board, he would move the little prong thing to the edge of the board and start, like, pointing, following it. So he said his name was Q. Although I don't know if it really mattered what his name was. Like, that might have just been what he picked at the time, because I think we were watching Star Trek and Q was a thing then. But Q could have been a guide. For sure. exactly what I was going to ask, yeah. Yeah, I think it was based off of the Q from Star Trek. You know, of course, he was kind of more of an a-hole, but the ultimate power and playfulness of him, I think that was sort of the vibe that Q was trying to give off. Yeah, Next Generation. Star Trek Next Generation, that's where he was from. He, of course, also ended up in Voyager and Deep Space Nine and such after that. I don't think he had a name, and he said love was all there is. Yep. All that mattered was love. All you need is love. Well, I'm actually moseying on with this now. Instead of just doing like 3 rows like I did last time. Then again, I had to start it and struggled with the sizing. Oops, too many purples. No, now I lost too many. This is one of those times I might actually draw a line through, because when I get about here, I'm losing where my eyes are looking. There we go, now we're getting to the brown. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Six, 8, 10, 11. I almost stopped like I was done the row. Still got some more things to do. I don't know what it is, but I couldn't get into the ones before or after Picard and Captain Kirk. Couldn't stand William Shatner. He always gave me the idea that he was so arrogant, but I guess that was his character. Yeah, that was. I don't know why I like Picard and Kirk. Well, if you don't like Picard, something's wrong with you. And didn't like the others. I liked Picard, and I actually liked Janeway, but I know a lot of people didn't, and they thought she was too much, acted too much like a man, and I'm like, so? But she did have her feminine moments sometimes during the show, too, and I don't know, I just liked her. I like the one with the female captain as well. Yeah, that's Voyager, Janeway, Captain Janeway. That was her name. I didn't feel she was a man. I felt she was just a strong female. Yep. But who knows? I watched it as a kid, so maybe... Well, a kid, like young teen. So maybe if I watch it again, I'll be like, wow, how did I like this show? Or maybe I'll just reinforce that I did like it. I could never get into the one that was sort of like a prequel. And I struggled with Deep Space Nine, although Zach and I tried to start watching it again. I don't know if I'll ever be able to now, though, without him. So, guess that's a bust. needle is not working with me through the warp here. Okay. So Tohos are supposed to be fairly consistent, but you can see sometimes like slight odd ones that are a little too small or a little too big. But there are beads, I think from Tohos. I can't remember if they're called the Toho Treasures or something else, that are cylindrical shape. They are, you want expensive beads. Ooh, that's what you get. But they are basically like laser cut to always be the exact same size and blah blah blah. But I've watched a few comparison videos, and a lot of them find that the Delicas don't have as much. Like, they have an inconsistency here or there, but it's not enough to, like you could just toss that one bead, you know? And they are more expensive than these Tohos, though. But, you know, guess it's more work to make a cylindrical bead. Patrick Stewart made a great Picard. Yes, he did. Patrick Stewart in Picard was great because he felt like the father you always wanted. You know, he was always like, he was stern enough and hard enough, but not too hard, and he just knew how to, like, incite integrity in those around him. I think we need more of that kind of role model in this day and age. Shows like the FBI's, Old Trent, the Good Doctor, the Rookie, stuff like that. Yep. And yes, it is coming along. Now we can actually see a bit like this is a cupcake. I'll probably end at 7:30 again like I did last time. Figure an hour and a half's about a good time to not hurt too much while I'm doing this. All these hooks. I swear, I think next time I'm gonna get tape and tape all the hooks openings. Just run a line across. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to touch on with grief too. I mean, could go on and on about how much it hurts. You know, there are days sometimes where it feels like it's in your soul. Can't breathe, can't think or do anything but feel it. And then there are days where you can still laugh and tell a joke, which I try to do as much as I can. Laughter's the best medicine, as they say. And it's okay to have that, even with the guilt. The same with playing video games. You know, sometimes I can't even play a game that I used to play with him before. I can't even if there's a game that I played as a single player, but he was alive at the time, just because, like, I have that memory of him sitting next to me, playing his own game while I was doing whatever puzzle game I was on at the time. So I brought brand new games and played those on my own. But it still hurts sometimes. Like, one time Zach and I got high, and we were playing Vermintide 2, and for some reason, we thought it was hilarious, well, for some reason, we were high, to start constantly hitting the space bar and going, "We're frolicking, frolicking, frolicking," and, it was just such a stupid thing that we laughed and giggled to. So the other day I was playing Final Fantasy 16, and it's just kind of by habit to jump when you're running in a straight line over and over again. And so I started doing that, and then I started thinking about frolicking, frolicking, and then I smirked, and then I cried. And I try not to not hit this jump button while I run around, because I also don't want to run away from that kind of pain either. And I hope one day to be able to do it and just have that smirk instead. And then, of course, ironically, the next day I was listening to my audiobook, which is, it's a spiritual book from a guy named Christian Sundberg. He has pre-birth memories, so he remembers what it was like before he came to Earth, apparently. And I'm at this Q&A section, and one of the answers or questions people asked him was like, "What do you do in heaven? What is there to do?" And one of the things he had said, like, it's difficult obviously to put it in human language, but some of the things that he was allowed to remember, because he can't remember it all, was that I don't remember everything, but one of the things he said that he remembered doing was frolic. And that kind of made me laugh, because it literally was the day after I remembered the frolicking thing that Zach and I used to do. So I don't know, I mean, it could be coincidence, but of all the times to have that pop up, I kind of feel like it meant something. I don't know what it was. I'm not saying it was a sign from Zach, but I think it meant something. Like, maybe it was Zach's way of telling me he's frolicking. I don't know. Because, you know, time doesn't matter up there. So he would have known when to align all of this stuff. Or maybe my higher self did it for me. I don't know. Liz's daughter's watching as well. Oh, hi! Get to hear me sob about my husband and make a bracelet for somebody. I'm in the pint of ice cream, popcorn, and watching a good movie. Yeah. I really could go for some ice cream. Not that I really need it. That was a weird sudden sigh. I don't really know this playlist too well, but it seems pretty chill. Alright, so it looks like some of these are not pulling as tensely as I would have liked, so I'm gonna just kind of do that to yank it over, and then kind of force it. There we go. Alright, good enough. You're doing great, and I love movies, and I got Christian's book. Yeah, he gives it away for free, I believe, in PDF form. But I can't read. Well, I can, but not too well, like a big block of text all at once. I am not a reader very well, so I splurged, and by splurge I mean I used my Audible point and got the Audible book. Made an apple pie. I don't have ice cream, but I do have whipping cream. Ooh, whipping cream's good too with it. I'm gonna need to get more of these metallic rainbow beads out. I don't know why it's sticking at the end of this. It looked like there was something stuck in the needle, so I think I got it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. You know what's funny is these dark brown ones, I think were called like something blood. Like they're supposed to be some kind of dark red, but they actually just look very dark brown to me, so unless I'm colorblind and I'm giving her blood red cupcake holder, but whatever. Yay. Oh, you bought it off of Amazon. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think I had mentioned that you can get it for free off his website. But at least that's what he said in the interview with Next Level Soul. But then I don't think you can get it on your Kindle then. I think it would have just been a PDF, so whatever. I don't mind supporting him anyway. The information has been useful. So for anybody who's wanting to look into spiritual stuff, but I feel like he has a better modern take on it and describes things better, especially for things that I had my doubts in, because, you know, growing up, my mom and I were spiritual in the course in miracles, but after I met my pesky husband, he started beating me with logic and telling me things like, well, if you're all one when you die, then you wouldn't be yourself anymore. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to be me. So I sort of fell off of being spiritual. But Christian has a great way of like describing things, and I've also actually spoken to a few near-death experiencers on Reddit. So, I mean, I know it's on Reddit, so take that for what it is. But he outright answered the exact same way they did. And you don't apparently lose your individuality. You're just all kind of connected, and you are one, but you also are you. Which is like, makes no sense, of course, but a lot of the issue is trying to explain it in human context. But a lot of the near-death experiencers also seem to keep who they are and their personalities while they're describing the things that are happening. Some of them are even surprised to know and find that they have their personalities while they're floating towards the light and all of that. So that meant a lot to me, you know, like, Christian has a very modern and like especially this Q&A section I'm in, people are asking these questions that I and Zach had asked back then, and he's actually giving decent enough answers that make sense to me. So you know, unasked for plug for another dude, but check out his book, I'll Walk in the Physical. Which, as Christian said, that's not how it is, you're still yourself. Yeah, he's just part of the one. Oh, the cupcake is so cute. Yes, thank you. I like how it's coming along. Because it's one thing when you make it on paper. You know, I mean, obviously this just kind of looks like cool pixel art or something. But when you're actually, like, making it real, it's nice to see that it's actually working. I need to get more of those metallic beads, though. Somehow, I think. Oh, no, I got 2 extra of these, so. But still, I guessed a perfect amount on most of those. No idea how. And since I'm here, I might as well pull out some more white. I'm gonna need 4 of these. Might as well put the rest away. Only 3 of these. And my friend in Canada, Liz's daughter, I don't want to say her name just in case she's internet shy about that. I think she used to do peyote bead work. Or not peyote, the ones you like iron and squish. Back in the day. Perler, yeah, that's the one. Yeah. You were just saying, kind of reminds me of the beads you use on the board in the He the Mob, the perler beads, yeah. Or parlor or whatever. Sort of like that stained glass, you put the beads in the frame of whatever it is you're making and you bake it in the oven and it comes out like stained glass. Oh, I remember doing that as a kid, like once or twice. Yeah, that was kind of cool. You don't bake these, obviously. Hi, I am here. You can say my name. Okay, hi Carla. Since it's right in my Twitch screen name. Yeah, I see that now. I didn't want to interrupt myself and click on who's here. A long time no chat. And was it the perler beads you used to use? Yes, Perler. I still have the supplies, but no time to make anything these days. Yeah, I hear that. Well, just start a stream. We can be bead buddies online. It is helpful to have a support group when you're grieving, too. My friends have helped me quite a lot. But for those of you who unfortunately don't have that luxury, that's why yesterday I was adamant about saying to find yourself a support group of some sort. It really can make a difference. I can't see where the hole is. That's what she said. There we go. I think I will make this my last row. It is 7:30 and I am a weak ass biatch. My back is hurting. And so are my weak wrists. And besides, it seems kind of a perfect time to end it with this purple part being done. And I think this is, yeah, this is the last row of the cupcake. And I totally missed those two beads. Whoops. Don't let that sciatica get you again. Yeah, no kidding. Plus I'm starting to get hungry. Need to make some dinner. I really like it. It's so cute. It really is cute. Yes. Thank you. I'm glad you guys agree, because obviously you can think your own creation looks good. Doesn't mean it actually is. Oh, I forgot to check the integrity. Yeah, okay. I like the same about my artwork until people tell me it looks good. Yep. Outward validation matters. I am noticing a slight little bubble. Oh, maybe not. But there we go. We finished the first cupcake. Hooray! I like how it's turning out too. Yeah, that'll be good for today, I think. I don't want to push myself too far either. I mean, I'm more excited to see how the cookie will turn out now that the cupcake is looking as good as it is. You did a fair amount today. Yes, I think so as well. It was a lot easier than just the first 3 rows. Those were very difficult. But, you know, now that I got this here as my little straightener. Alright. So, thank you for joining me again. Well, at all. Looks really good. I've done some bead looming years ago. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, Yeah, I started it very, like, years ago, too. I tried doing a couple pieces, and I liked it. But then, you know, gaming got in the way, and I ended up doing that instead, which wasn't productive whatsoever, but it was fun. And what are we but the need for that, you know, next dopamine hit? So, you know, I figured I might as well do this, and I found that I'm actually, because it's creative and also productive at the same time. You know, it helps sort of hit all of the things, and actually makes me feel like I'm at least doing something because I can hold my creation in my hand. Nothing is a waste of time as long as you enjoy doing it. I agree. Yeah. I mean, you're right. Ultimately, in the end, as long as you can look back and be like, I had fun, that's what matters. But there's definitely something to holding, like I said, your creation in your hands after you're done. Which I think next stream I'll bring in all the ones that I finished before and show them off a little. Might as well gloat. It's my stream. Where else am I gonna do it? Puppet star, yeah. Alright, so thank you to my mum and my friends for joining me. It was kind of nice to actually have something to go back and forth with instead of me just yapping at nobody. I enjoy watching this. Good. Good, because I'm going to ask you to see it again tomorrow. Excuse me, my throat's dry now. So thank you again for joining me, and again for anybody out there grieving, I'm sorry for your loss, and know that you're not alone, and that even though the pain never really goes away, that jar does get bigger. It's like what One Happy Widow on YouTube once said. It's like going to the gym and lifting a weight. Even though the weight never changes how heavy it is, it gets easier to lift it. And I think that was a valuable piece of advice for me back then, so I hope to spread it and promote her channel too, apparently. Me too, and tell me when. I'll probably be doing it at the same time tomorrow at 6 EST, which will be 3 PTS or PST, whatever, Pacific. But I'll give you a text beforehand anyway. Yep, just text me before you go on. I will. So, love you guys, and thanks for joining me. And since I have no fancy way to end this off, I'll just say bye-bye.